Welcome guys to another episode of A Track Call Quest. In this episode we're going to be talking about transmission coolers, their purpose, and the installation of my brand new CBR transmission cooler. So the transmission we have in Dusty is a A442F 4-speed automatic transmission. This unit has been rebuilt about 1,500 miles ago. The reason I had it rebuilt was the torque converter was making some weird noise. I didn't want to take the chance with the torque converter going out, so I pulled the transmission. I sent the torque converter out to get rebuilt, and the transmission was sent out to my local transmission guy not too far from here, and he completely rebuilt the transmission. I did install a brand new valve body in the transmission by Nomad Wholesale Transmissions. They're out of Australia, so it's got sharper, firmer shifts. Normal operating temperatures for this transmission, the A442, is anywhere between 176 to 195 degrees Fahrenheit. I am running the stock factory transmission cooler, and that stock factory transmission cooler was designed for a stock vehicle, right? With none of this extra crap we add on to these trucks. Besides my factory transmission cooler, I am running an auxiliary transmission cooler. It's a tube and fin type cooler. So the transmission fluid runs through a tube that zigzags back and forth. And along that tube you have these fins that are soldered on, which help dissipate the heat. Attached to that transmission cooler, I have a 10-inch electric fan that I have wired to a switch in the dash. Another way to mitigate automatic transmission temperatures is by being in the proper gear. Being in the proper gear is very important. If you're going to be climbing steep grade where it's loose, shaly, you want to be in 4-low in first gear, right? And that'll actually help, with these older trucks at least, kick up the RPMs for that mechanical fan to be able to push more air across the radiators. While I'm out there off-roading, climbing up these steep grades, doing what I have to do, I'm constantly monitoring my transmission temperatures via the gauge I have on my A-pillar. I'm always looking at that gauge. So if I do see temperatures climb anywhere above 200 degrees Fahrenheit, I will activate the switch in my dash and try to mitigate those temperatures. This is the route I decided to go to. It's a radiator made by CBR. This is badass. So these guys fabricate everything in-house. They actually build radiators for all those trophy trucks out in the desert, pre-runners, all them dune buggies out there. This is what they're running. It's a plate and fin type cooler. So you have these horizontal plates, and that's the width of the plate. What's cool about this unit as well is you have these two small holding tanks on either side. On the back side here we have two 4-inch SPAL fans that I'm going to be wiring to that same switch in the cab. You might have to fabricate some sort of bracket, but this will be replacing my B&M auxiliary transmission cooler that I have in there now, and we just got to find a place for it. We are looking at my auxiliary transmission cooler from below, and we have two fasteners down here securing it to this mounting bracket. There's one there and then one over here. This line is my outflow line that comes off my stock transmission cooler, so it flows this way into my auxiliary transmission cooler. This one here will be my outflow line, which then goes into this magnifying external transmission filter. This was highly recommended by the guy that remanufactured my torque converter. He's been in business for 40 years, and he highly recommended running an external transmission filter. So I did. After that, the line continues back towards the transmission. We're going to undo these lines going to my auxiliary transmission cooler, so let's get to it. Clamps here, these actually help you pinch off tubes. It prevents leakage, so we're going to clamp this hose down right here. Alright guys, so we have the filter draining, and that's going to seep out for a little bit. Here. That's not happening. So we got our valance down here. This bracket's in the way, and then we have our condenser pipe back in here. That's also in the way. So we won't be able to mount it in this location. So we're gonna have to find another way. Something like that would be awesome. Mama don't like that city chicken, 'cause it comes on a stick. Mama don't like that city chicken, she says it makes me sick. Okay guys, so we are pretty much done now. We have our outflow line going into this magnifying transmission filter, and then from there it goes back into the transmission. So this is secured in place. Got it all mounted up really nice. There's 2 mounting points down below. And I got one on top up there. Can't see it from here, but there it is, guys. We are good to go here. Looks pretty good. What I like is how easily accessible this filter is. So it'll be super easy to swap out. I am waiting on a skid plate that I'm going to install. Going to go from this cross member here to probably about there. So it's going to protect all this equipment, and not only that, but it'll still be able to get airflow, especially from this opening here on the bumper. So as you can see, we got plenty of clearance. So that's the bottom of the bumper right there. So it sits nice and tucked up underneath there. As far as water crossings go, we'll see those SPAL fans hold up. They are sealed, so they have sealed motors, so we'll see. But we are good to go, guys. So you can see it from that little window there. Alright guys, so we are pretty much done. The CBR auxiliary transmission cooler is in the truck. I ended up replacing the magnifying inline external filter with the brand new units. Everything's plumbed, it's ready to go. All that we got left is to reinstall the grill and top off the transmission fluid with some extra fluid. Turn it on, cycle it, and check for leaks. So that's about it, guys. So stay tuned, there's more videos coming, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.